Hello guys, this is Dr. Palaniappan Manickam. In this video, we're going to talk about what is causing diabetes, how we have been treating it wrong, and at the end of the video, I'll tell you a simple tip to reverse the diabetes. Let's dive deep into it. So India is becoming the world capital of diabetes. 1 in 11 patients from India have diabetes. Kerala is the diabetic capital of India with 1 in 5 people are having diabetes, with Tamil Nadu and Bangalore catching up. And mone, naayarukada chayala sakkara korachu adhigamo. Manasilai. So basically, diabetes means your insulin is not working. There are two kinds of diabetes, type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Type 1 is something that you are born with, congenital, genetic. Basically, you are born without insulin. We can't do anything about it except that we have to give you external artificial insulin to sustain life. So type 1 diabetes is genetic. It is almost like a Sid Sriram song. No matter what song you give it to him, he's going to sing like type 1 diabetes. So it is better to give a song that matches him. So insulin in type 2 diabetes was good to start with. You guys had enough insulin, but we started beating it up by eating at the wrong time, eating the wrong food to a point that it is not working anymore. So type 2 diabetes is like a Shruti Hassan song. Initially she started very well, but she sang wrong song at the wrong time, and then now she is not singing at all. So in this video, I'm just going to focus on type 2 diabetes, which is the most common one. Basically, you have insulin, but it is good for nothing. Yarume illada kadaila yarukada insulin athra. So diabetes was once called a rich man disease because we are adopting a rich man's lifestyle these days. It is getting increasingly common. While we were watching cricket in an IPL final, my friend Thirunagar was talking about scores to his friends. Avan 150, even 200 abdinte. Later I came to realize that they are talking about their sugar score. My friend Thirunagar won by large margin with 8 diseases in hand. So to understand how to reverse diabetes, you need to understand how insulin works. So the major organs in our body, our brain, heart, kidneys, every organ is made up of cells, and these cells need energy, and that energy is being given by insulin. Insulin gives energy to these cells, and these cells are active and it starts working, and that's how we sustain life. And that energy is obtained from the food that we eat. When we eat food, it goes into the stomach. The stomach acid splits into 3 parts: carbs, proteins, and fat, and it gets absorbed into the blood. Carbs, proteins, and fats are like the 3 Tamil Changams, Cheras, Cholas, and Pandyas. We want them to work together like a kingdom so that our body work at its best. But with our eating habits and lifestyle changes, all we get is 23 pulikesi. I keep repeating this: we are what we eat. Our small intestine is made up of good and bad bacteria. If your good bacteria is more than the bad bacteria, you are definitely at a lower risk of getting any kind of diseases like diabetes. And that's why in my practice I used to test patients regarding their composition of good and bad bacteria in the small intestine. So this video is being sponsored by Ombre, which is a kit that we can use at home to determine what kind of composition that we have in our small intestine. If your bad bacteria is more than the good bacteria, we can potentially target the treatment accordingly. There is a video that I put out in the past regarding how to get good bacteria in the gut. Please check out that as well, and there is a discount for the coupon for Ombre test kit in the description below. All your donations will go to AISHWARYAM Trust in Madurai. So out of the 3 main kings, carbs, proteins, and fats, carbs are the one is being acted upon by insulin. When carbs enter the blood, insulin takes the carbs, gives that energy to the cells in brain, heart, kidneys, lungs, all over the body. And if the cells are hungry, it will take the carb and make use of it for its daily activities. But the problem here is these cells are never hungry because we keep feeding them. So these cells don't need extra energy, so it keeps rejecting the sugar that is insulin is trying to give it to the cell. So it is like an one-sided love. Insulin pours love by giving sugar to the cell, and cell says I don't need it, and it keeps rejecting it, and insulin becomes Kadal Bharat and goes 99999. don't know what to do. But insulin is such a good lover that it is still loyal to the cells, so it is converting the excess sugar into fat, thinking that this cell might need more energy down the road, but that never happens. So this is similar to how in a wedding we store all the gifts, vessels and patrams and thinking that this will be useful later but never get used and passed on to the next generation. It's exactly the same thing, both vessel and diabetes. So when this keeps happening, the sugar gets built up and gets converted into fat because the cells are not using it, and it is slowly getting accumulated in your belly. When you have belly fat, that is the first sign of disaster. But we think that having a belly fat is a sign of prosperity. When I was obese, my mom used to say, "Ippadanda doctor madri irukku" அப்படின்ட்டு. If my mom has to frame the 6-year MBBS curriculum, she will say 5 years of MBBS training and 1 year of eating more food to become like a doctor. So when your belly fat keeps on increasing, your sugar level in the blood keeps increasing as well, and that is the first sign that you are having sweet blood, which is a sign of diabetes. The first sign of sweet blood is that you will be urinating more often. Usually you urinate 2 to 3 times a day, but once you are having sweet blood, you might urinate 8 to 10 times a day. So before the invention of glucose testing in the blood, doctors used to diagnose diabetes by drinking the urine to see how sweet it is. I'm so glad that I'm practicing medicine now. Now I know why my dad used to scold me, "At least drink the urine of the first rank holder." Even at that time, I drank the first rank holder's water bottle because that is the pre-stage of urine. So when you have sweet blood, it starts to damage your internal organs. It starts with your kidneys, eyes, skin, lungs, and finally your heart, and even your sweet heart cannot help you. So if you have listened to the story carefully, when you hear the statement that a 45-year-old patient with diabetes died of a heart attack, where was the problem? So God gave us good cells and good insulin to start with. We made it worse with these two issues. Number one, our cells did not require that much energy because we are not exerting that much energy. Number two, we keep on feeding us so that our cells had abundance of energy which it doesn't have to exert. So we don't take care of these two problems at all, but we keep giving more insulin. What does this insulin does? Takes the extra sugar, goes to the cell, and the cell says, "I am done, I don't need you." It comes back again, converts into fat, makes our belly even bigger. So then what happens after a point of time? The current insulin dose doesn't work. Then you need to increase the dosage of insulin, which will make you even bigger. The whole point is absolutely wrong. So what should be the treatment? It should be combining those 2 points. Number one, you make the cells exert more by doing more physical activity or increase your basal metabolic rate by building muscles. Number two, decrease the amount of food intake so that you will decrease the amount of sugar that is entering into the blood, and that can be easily done by fasting. My friend Saravana Kumar is asking, if I follow this combo deal, will I get a large Coke as a complimentary? I said this is not a combo deal, this is buy diabetes, get heart attack free. So the first option of making the cells exert more doesn't happen right away because our environment is not conducive for that at this time. So we need to slowly build this up and eventually it will help you as well. But the easier option is to decrease the amount of calorie and carb intake, and that can be done by fasting. So remember, diabetes is mainly diet related and the treatment is mainly diet and not insulin. Insulin is just a band-aid. But unfortunately, many patients are focused on medication like insulin and forget about the diet completely. My uncle is like, "Give me one more gulab jamun, I will increase the dosage of insulin tonight." Insulin காயிலாங்கடையில இருக்கிற கிலோ கல்லு மாதிரி யூஸ் பண்றாங்க, தகரத்துக்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி கல்லு வைக்கிறதுக்கு. So how does fasting help? Fasting decreases the amount of food coming in, decreases the amount of calories. Insulin doesn't have to work that much. Eventually, the body is forced to make use of the energy stored. All the fat will dissipate slowly and eventually all the cells will become hungry again, and the insulin will actually work by providing energy to the cells, and the love will get into a marriage. Insulin actually follows the protocol that our Talaivar has sang in Muthu movie. வயிறு வரைக்கும் சோறு இருந்தா நீதான் உனக்கு எஜமானு, கழுத்து வரைக்கும் சோறு இருந்தா அதுதான் உனக்கு எஜமானு. So the same mechanism is happening after weight loss surgeries. After weight loss surgery, people lose like 50 kilos and all their diabetes is gone, all their blood pressure is gone because of the same mechanism that I just explained, that the calorie content is decreased and all the cells are hungry again. The same mechanism can be reproduced with this simple fasting technique. I'm emphasizing the point again that insulin is just a band-aid. It does not reverse diabetes. Food intake is the one that is going to reverse your diabetes. So taking insulin is like spraying a perfume without taking a bath. Surya Vamsam Anandarajukku appuram Marikolanda scent podra ore aalu en friend Saranakumar. So before insulin was discovered in 1921, actually scientists used starvation as a method to treat diabetes. People are so concerned that if you fast, diabetic patients will go into low blood glucose levels, which is absolutely not true, because when you fast, the normalization of blood glucose levels actually happens at a better rate. So Shivangi Dawn la solra madri intermittent fasting வந்து உங்க glucose level low glucose க்கு மேல high glucose க்கு கீழ maintain பண்ணும். So if you combine this fasting method with our circadian rhythm method that we have been explaining this in our channel, this is a golden combo. I can guarantee you that your diabetes will be reversed. I've shared so many success stories in the social media that this method actually works. If you or any of your friend are diagnosed with borderline diabetes or a new onset diabetes, talk to your doctor and follow my previous YouTube video about how to start intermittent fasting safely. This can be absolutely done. As usual, if you think you got anything out of this video, please consider donation to AISHWARYAM Trust in the link that is mentioned below. This is a trust that we use for hospice patients for comfort care who have exhausted their options both medically and also financially. Please join me in helping them out. So please let me know in the comment section if you or any of your friend who has been diagnosed with diabetes can adopt this fasting method or not. What are the challenges that you are expecting? Please let me know. So remember, one belly at a time. It is absolutely important. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.